Alrighty, I think everybody can hear me fine, and I believe we're live everywhere. So, welcome everybody. I'm Rich, your community manager. Most of you know me. It's just been a little bit since you've seen me. Glad to be back. I was out for a little bit as I was, my wife was having a baby, so I was a little bit busy there. Um, but if you guys can hear me, let me know, or if anything's going wrong. But yeah, this is the Illuvium 2025 wrap up town hall. We're going to discuss, everything that happened in 2025, plans going forward, stuff going on right now. Kieran's got a bunch to talk about. So, but first, we do have some like other stuff to take care of. So we're going to take care of this raffle first. We have a raffle from the arena events that we were holding during the IPL. So we have some prizes we need to give out real quick. I'm going to share the screen here in Discord too, hopefully, if so you guys can see it here, because we're live in Discord and on platforms. So I'm trying to get it everywhere for you guys real quick, if we can. Let me see here. Let's turn off Kieran here and put that live. Can you guys see my screen here? I think you can. Okay. All right, so the first prize is going to be, or the first spin is going to be for first prize. That's $400 for the first player. So there's 800 total. So 400, 200, 160, and 40. So we'll do these spins real quick so we can jump into the town hall. But yeah, let's see who gets it. Oh, it's going to be a little one. Nope. He's always playing, so he's very active player. Congratulations, Caribou. Let's hide him. So Caribou, you won 400 USDC. I'm assuming is what we're going to be giving you, but yeah. So next is for 200. Okay. Let's see who gets it. It's going to be a little one. Can't even read the name. Oh, Muffin Man, an Australian. There we go. I know him. He's probably asleep right now. What time is it over there? Like 6? Yeah. Yeah, he's probably asleep. Congratulations, Muffin Man. I don't even know if he's here right now, but okay, third place. 100 USD to the third place winner. Let's see, it's going to be a little one again. Scorpion Zada. He plays a lot of Arena 2. Congratulations. And then we'll do this $60 winner next. I don't know, Lars. It's looking tough for you at this point. Okay, let's see here. Maserati Guild. Okay, GG. You won 60 USD, and then the last one will be for 40 USD. No flame, Lars. It is what it is. All right, and the last winner is Slooper. Slooper is he's that new TFT player, right? Newer TFT player. So congratulations to Slooper. All right, so that was just a little administrative thing we wanted to take care of, make sure everyone was taken care of there. Let me go ahead and take this here. Well, we'll show everybody real quick. There's your winners: Caribou with 400, Muffin Man 200, Scorpion Zada 100, and then 60 for Maserati, and then Slooper for 40. So congratulations, guys, there. We'll remove my screen here. Okay, now let's bring Kieran up on the screen here for both of us. Alrighty, we got Kieran up, and I think we are good to go ahead and start with this town hall. Congratulations, everyone that won on the raffle. The IPL has ended. We're going to go through all that in this town hall. But yeah, Kieran, welcome, and it's nice to see you. We can go ahead and get this started. I know we have a lot to go over. We have a little bit of questions from the community, but I mean, we basically have an agenda laid out, reviewing the year, and yeah, I'll just let you jump right into it.
Yeah, no worries. It's good to be here. Another end of year town hall. I think this is the fifth one that we've had. So lot to talk about. It's been a pretty crazy, hectic, up and down year. So Yeah, keen to get into it and discuss all the stuff that has happened this
Alrighty.
year.
Well, yeah, I guess first things first, we want to just go into, I guess what were, some of the key accomplishments you see from Illuvium as a team, this year, and, even looking at the overall landscape of Web3 gaming, and then we'll jump into IPL after that as well, and Arena.
Sure, sure. So it was a very interesting year, and I say that lightly, probably. Uh, it started off, we had launched in 2024, and we very, very quickly learned that we'd launched way too early. And we definitely, without a doubt, should have held off and turned the overworld into what we're building now. And but we didn't, and we launched, and we had to accept the critics that came out and called it what it was, which was definitely an unfinished game. And when that's your flagship product, that I think everyone is in some way, shape, or form excited about and can't wait to play, and you release it, halfway done, it's never going to go down well, right? Now, we obviously had plans to fix that up, as fast as possible and add a whole bunch of features. We'd already been working on a whole bunch of features, but succumbing to external pressure to release something that just wasn't ready in hindsight, created a pretty tough situation that we needed to navigate through. And 2025 was a bad year for all of crypto gaming. I think everyone here can agree with that. It was something like 50 plus shutdowns across 2025. And so we were already in a very tough spot. And
Well, we lost your audio. We lost your audio for a second.
and
Yeah, can you point your camera down a bit too? You're good now. I hear you now, but if you point your camera down a bit, yeah, that'll be perfect. Perfect. And then yeah, I can hear you now. We lost you for a second.
weird. That might be a Discord thing because I'm in Australia and you've started overseas. But we'll try and push on. So yeah, it macro was really fighting against us in 2025, and I think it's going to be a similar case in 2026. But we've never been a team that's going to shy away from that, right? Like, the reality of our situation was we put ourselves in that position, and we decided to build in crypto. We knew how hard it was going to be, and we decided to do that. And so to sit there and say, oh, this is too hard, and we're putting our hands up, and this is frustrating, and there's so many people against crypto gaming, whether it be in crypto now or externally. We knew all of those things, right? And we decided to go down this path. And usually the things that end up being the best, or the best results, or whatever you want to call it, usually they're extremely hard, and you don't really hear about the tough situations that teams had to plow through in order to get to success. And so it has not phased us. And so that's the macro environment, and we've been building through that. And then we have internally what issues we've had, and how we've navigated through them. And the first one was a big team reduction early on in the year. We realized, okay, the market is not where we want it to be, and we're now fighting to get back market share. We're trying to show people that, hey, we know we fucked up, we're going to fix that, and we've been sharing as much gameplay as possible to show that we are doing that. But at the same time, we knew we had to do a capital raise at the end of the year. That didn't happen, which I'll get to in a second. But we had to make that first step of reducing our team, reducing our burn rate. And that was, I think, February that we did that. Fast forward to December, and we have had a year where we've finally released what I would call a finished product with Arena. We released our Pro League, which I think went really, really well. Got a lot of eyes on the project. Got Cointelegraph talking about us again, and a bunch of other people, and it really planted a stake in the ground to say, okay, they can build good games, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that it's better than TFT or anything like that, but it is a very fun game. You can look up our records. I play all the time. Right, it's a very fun game, and I think that was very important for us to show that we have the ability to build good games. But that didn't solve our issues, right? That got us to a point where people started to have belief again, but that's one thing, right? It's not that's not fixing Overworld, and we knew that was going to take time. But all we could do is show as much gameplay as possible. And that's what we've been doing since we switched from Arena. Once that was finished and the IPL was going, we switched to the MMO, and we decided that we're going to need to show people what we're capable of building. And even though we had a smaller team, we did exactly that. And, we've shown the boss battle. We've shown combat, we've shown missions that you can go and do, and quests, we've shown social, we've shown the fact that there's literally 25, 30 people in an instance playing, which is us internally testing. We've tried to show that this thing is getting built, and it looks really, really fun. And when you play it, it's also really, really fun, right? And so that has been the plan, and I feel like we've done a pretty good job at getting people back on side and saying, like, okay, they really fucked up, but they owned that. They didn't shy away from it, and now they're building some really cool stuff. Started with Arena, now it's moved on to the MMO, and it's starting to come together. That was all meant to culminate into a market that starts looking better, and investors getting a bit of an appetite, and all of these things that unfortunately it did not, right? And we cannot control that, and all we can do is build the best games possible, do the best marketing we can to get people across Illuvium and excited and hyped up about what we have coming. And we can't control anything else. And so we had to make the call in December. I sat down with investors in November, and I said, look, what do you think the outlook is? Here's my thoughts and where I think the market is going. I want to be wrong. Obviously, I want to be very wrong. I want to be more wrong than I've ever been in my life about this market. But with us coming into 12 months of runway, it was just too risky to sit here and wait. And so I went back to our team, and I said, to our admin team, and I said, look, this is what I think is going to happen in 2026. This is where we're positioned. This is how much cash we have. This is how much revenue we're generating. We need to take action right now, like literally right now. The capital raise, at least for the moment, is off the table, and I'll get to that in a second as well. But we need to take action right now. And so I organized a chat, a one-on-one chat with every single person that works at Illuvium, which is, a pretty large undertaking. But after 5 years, I wanted to have these conversations individually with each person and just, explain where we're at. And basically, the output of those meetings was we went in saying that our burn rate is 750K. We're also selling a whole bunch of ILB that we're using to pay staff with, which was in hindsight a very good idea. It saved and preserved our runway, and yes, psychologically it put a bit of oppression on the token price, but I also think it wouldn't have really mattered where macro is at. It was probably going to go down anyway, and so us preserving runway to ensure that we can get this MMO out, which will defy any market there is. If we launch a successful MMO and we've got players and we've got revenue, it will not give a fuck what the market thinks. It will just go ballistic, right? And finally, people in crypto will have something to hold on to and say, look, there is a good studio that has built something that mainstream loves. We're not sitting in a bubble. And so to get to that is the most important thing. Out of anything, that is the most important thing. Not token price, not team, nothing. Like, that is the thing. Get that thing out. Get that product out. Get that game out. And so I sat down, and the plan was to basically halve our burn rate. But how we do that was still up for debate, or really up for discussion, right? And so I went to the council and I said, we need to do that. And I said, I've arranged all of these meetings with the core contributors. And I said, I don't have a plan here in terms of exactly how this is going to play out. I'm just going to speak to everyone and see where we're at. So with the thought that there may be a situation where we have to let go a whole bunch of people in order to get down to this burn rate that was a non-negotiable at this point, right? Had these conversations, and I put on the table that I've spoken to investors. They believe that 2026 may be a tough year, like I believe, and because of those reasons, we need to get our burn rate down. Now, every single person that I spoke to in this team put their hand up and said, we'll take a pay cut, and not a small one, a very, very, very substantial pay cut, and just said, will that help, right? And it got to the point where I'd done 5 or 6 of these conversations and every single person was the same. I then started saying, okay, well, like if everyone does take a pay cut, that means that we can keep basically all teams intact with a few reductions across departments, but nothing that really has to change our vision and our outlook of what we can actually output in 2026. And so I thought, well, let's have these conversations. It may be that I've just spoken to 5 or 6 people that are like very understanding. It was the case with every single other person. Every single other person put their hand up and said, yes, we believe in what we're building. We believe in the conviction that you have. We want to be the team that takes crypto gaming mainstream. We want to be that, and we've been here for 5 years, and we're literally going to be here until the fucking wheels fall off, right? And I came back from those conversations, and every single person put in whatever they could in terms of a pay cut. And what that has resulted in, yes, there are a few people that unfortunately we had to let go, and we've done that as strategically as possible to not disrupt the MMO. That is, again, paramount, the most important thing, and we've done that. And we've also reduced our burn rate massively, almost halved, right? And with that, we can announce that in 2026 going in, we've got 18 months of runway. Now, it may be higher depending on how things go with revenue, but we were going into 2026 realistically with 9 months runway, right? And we could play around with the numbers as much as possible and pay more ILV, and that just hemorrhaged the price because our staff need to go and sell that ILV. This plan is without any sell pressure of ILV, which again, I want to reiterate there. I don't think that is magically going to make the token price go up. I don't think that has been the reason. There's been a couple of posts here and there of people saying like, "Oh, I got Illuvium, you know, they haven't been disclosing this, and their staff are selling ILV. It's sirens." We're not like that. We've never been like that. We're transparent with our community. We do these town halls, and I lay it all out on the line. As you can see, you get the raw, unfiltered version of me. No bullshit, right? We've never been like that. And we had to sit there and say, you know, it's a known thing. And obviously, we didn't want to be too outspoken about that because it just looks like we're being defensive or whatever. But we've known that we've had to stop that, whether it be psychological or FUD fuel or whatever it be. We've had to stop the ILV payments, even though it's preserved our runway really, really well. And so that stops as well. But also our focus goes to revenue. So we'll get to that in a sec, but I just wanted to lay it out and set the tone for the rest of the town hall, and hopefully where that bleeds into the new year, that you're going to be hearing of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 more shutdowns. You will. This is going to be a barren wasteland. I promise you that. In 2026, we're going to see maybe 10 players emerge. There used to be 500. Maybe 10 will emerge out of that. Who they are, I'm not sure, but I have a lot of conversations with people who have invested. I've invested in a lot of games, and it is going to be harder and harder and harder. And you're going to hear things like, we did our best, we tried to raise more capital, and we couldn't do it. You're going to hear that a lot. And I just want to make it abundantly clear that our team is not willing to go down without a fight. And I mean a big fight. A fight that definitely gets us deep into 2027 without any revenue changes, without any capital raise. We can get there now. Right? And maybe I'm wrong, right? And I hope I'm wrong. As I said, I hope I'm wrong. And maybe we get a situation where macro clears up, liquidity starts flowing in, and 2026 is a crazy year where crypto goes nuts, right? And maybe all those games that I think are going to shut down or be forced to shut down, maybe they don't. Great. That is a really, really, really good situation for us. But we can't rest on our laurels there and say that could happen. Therefore, let's just march into 2026 without any changes. And we're not that team, and we're never going to be that team. That's what you invested in. If you're still here, that's what you invested in. And I'm not saying that we have some magical wand where we can make it all better, but we are doing everything in our power to ensure that we survive and we get this MMO out. And the best part about this is that MMO team is almost completely untouched. Yes, it's going to hurt marketing a little bit, but we can worry about that later. The first thing that we need to do is get that game looking unbelievably good so it can be packaged and ready for mainstream. The true first mainstream game that cuts through, even though there's been a couple that, bubble up, and what I'm talking a stayer, something that comes out and people love it and keep continuing to pay for more services in that game. That's what I'm talking about. That's our aim. That's our goal. And that's what 2026 is going to be about.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it sounded very similar to our team meeting last night, like, yeah, we had a team meeting last night and Kieran went through a lot of this as well. And, I'm, I'm excited to be here still, and like you said, like, we all believe in the project, many of, or all of us, I think everybody that's here still, very much so. So yeah, I mean, you kind of like left it at a perfect transition spot, I guess, because you were talking a lot about the MMO, but we kind of grazed over the arena and the IPL and the changes coming for that, and plans going forward, because obviously, like you said, the MMO is very big priority here. So I'm sure some of the questions are relating to what's next for arena. Is there going to be another IPL? Obviously, we just had a major update yesterday. If you guys didn't see it yet or play it, basically we have one queue now, and I'm sure Kieran will discuss it more, but it's all about, Illuvial ownership now. There is no more Leviathan mode. Everything is Leviathan. So yeah, we can jump into the arena stuff next if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. So, around there has been a light in 2025, and I know we only touched on it a little bit there, but I'm very proud of what the arena team has done. It's a team that's, I think the max amount of people that have ever worked on that at once was 7 or 8 devs, right? Which is pretty good to be able to get to the quality of game that we have. As I said, I love that genre, and as much as I would love for us to be able to do new sets and add a massive amount of new content and change up the meta with different affinities and different abilities and stuff like that to make it more exciting. We just don't have the resources, and they have to be going into the MMO. But the game is still super amounts of fun. I'm always playing it. I find myself playing 3 or 4 games in a row. The new changes that have come out, which I hadn't actually played. I went on holiday for 10 days and I missed that patch. And the shortening of the games makes it a bit frantic. I would say it's a little bit chaotic, but it's in a good way. You're finding that you can play 3 or 4 games in an hour and a half versus it taking 2, maybe 2 and a little bit games hours previously, which is a big difference, and I think is really awesome. And then the changes that we made yesterday, it changes the game. The fact that you have ownership in there and everyone is now lining up, and it's a mix. I've seen people play with no Illuvials, and usually, they're ending up like 7th or 8th even. And so the incentive for that person to go like, okay, what's going on here? Well, you can literally go around the UI and be like, okay, well, that guy's got a 48. All of mine are 111. And you start to get the idea pretty quickly that you don't own those Illuvials. But I think the bigger thing is everyone who's been playing that game, we spent a lot of time and effort trying to get people to come across from TFT, and the reality is it's not better than TFT. So it's a very, very hard sell to try and get people to come across. But the crypto people that have Illuvials, that have gone into the overworld and caught them and want utility, for them, they've been our player base. We have, I think it's something like 5,000 people every month still playing Arena, and they're all the people that have Illuvials, right? And so it's kind of one of those things where I've always been like, I would love to play with my Illuvials, but I don't want to put off new players coming in. And the reality is the new players aren't coming in, and we've just been we've been sitting here with the same crypto audience And sure, more crypto people have come in and whatever, but they get ownership. They get the benefit of that. And it makes the game a lot more fun. And I tell you what it really does for me, certainly, it makes me want to spend money in the ecosystem again, right? Like actually spend money in the ecosystem again, where I went into a game yesterday and I think I ended up coming third, but I didn't realize this. I had a gorilla that that I upgraded to a greater gorilla. As everyone knows, I like playing the monkeys and getting them up to stage 3. But I didn't own a greater gorilla. And so I ended up upgrading and I was like, oh no, now I've got a level 1 greater gorilla with no stats, and I just ended up getting smashed. And that was the first time in probably 18 months that made me start looking on the marketplace. And that's all it takes. A few situations like that, where you then go and buy one, you go back into the game, you then win a game. That is a positive reinforcement loop. That makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you have some ownership of not just the Illuvial, of your destiny. Of like, okay, well, if I'm not that good, at least I can buy the best cards, and that's going to get me closer, right, to being good. And that might be the thing that gets you over the hill of like, okay, this is a steep learning curve, but now I've spent some money, so I'm going to force myself to learn. And then you're like, wow, I really like this game. So there's a lot of ancillary benefits that are going to come out of switching on ownership. And I really don't see much downside in terms of other players saying like, oh, I don't own Illuvials. Sure, that is going to happen, but predominantly everyone owns Illuvials that's been playing the game. So I'm very, very excited about that. But I'm also excited about what's going to come in 2026 when we actually start marketing this. And I don't mean going to Web 2 and crazy things like that. I mean doing proper crypto marketing to try and get more people who understand ownership to come into the game now. I think the ability for you to buy your team and give yourself a good starting boost is going to be a big reason that people have money in crypto. Maybe not so anymore, but people don't mind spending hundreds of dollars on a game in crypto, and you don't need to spend that much to get a good team in Arena. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of second order effects that start happening, which are really, really positive for Arena. We'll create, we will do the IPL again. It's going to change. The prize money is obviously going to come down quite considerably, but we will do that with the new mode, with ownership. And I think that is going to make for much better viewing as well, right? When people have their own Illuvial and that, it's their crutch, and they play around that one unit. I think that's going to make it a little bit more exciting. And so yeah, Arena is looking really good. I've seen so many comments about this being the best it's ever looked. And obviously there are a bunch of other new things coming, like XP boosts. We get it. It's super frustrating that you can't just immediately start buying levels. And the other one is burning shitty Illuvials. Old Illuvials that you haven't used. You will have an opportunity, multiple opportunities, to burn those Illuvials and use them, not money. You can use them. You've already spent your hard-earned money on these Illuvials and getting extras and whatever. You should be able to then funnel that back into your team and reinforce it, make it even better. And you'll have both those opportunities. For the people who are time poor, who are like, I just want to get my greater gorilla up immediately, and there'll be a way for you. And for other people that like to do more of the theory crafting, there will be a way for you to burn Illuvials and then start using them to make other Illuvials better. So yeah, really excited about Arena, and happy with how the IPL went. Obviously, we need to make a few changes here and there, but I think for the most part, it was a really, really positive thing.
The IPL was a good time. Like I had a great time. The final was amazing. That was a great final, at least. You know, I watched the replay of that, so that was really good. But yeah, that's all good stuff. I'm happy to use my Illuvials, I'll tell you that much. And I do need to be getting some XP because yeah, some people have level 60 Illuvials, and you know, I think that's my biggest problem is like I don't remember which ones I own when I'm playing, and then I end up like leveling up to stage 3, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have a slash-in, you know, or my slash-in's shitty, you know, and then I'm screwed basically. So yes, I need to start burning Illuvials to make mine better. So, but that's all exciting stuff. Yes, the new patch is amazing. The recycler too is amazing. I doubt you've used that yet if you haven't tested the new one. But so you can like change augments. Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, the energy augment is the bane of my existence. So now I can get all red.
See somebody
and
like I will say, you know,
it.
there's been mixed feedback on, you know, the Illuvial ownership, you know, Leviathan being the thing now, but I mean, I think you're right for the most part. You know, the people who are here that are playing all the time, they've been asking for this and they love it. So glad to make them happy. And you know, I'm stoked too. I have a bunch of Illuvials that you know, some of them are higher level, but I need those XP boosts. So but we'll move on to the next thing here. So yeah, we'll talk about the overworld development, like how that's looking, where we're at there, you know, the playtest timeline. I know we're getting emails already in a list for people to be testing the vertical slice. So what's all that looking like?
Yeah, so the first thing that we want to do with the overworld is this small playtest. We've been talking about it for a long time. We've been talking about December. I'm going to be very, very honest. December has been quite disruptive. We've had these conversations go on for about 10 days, but yeah, a week and a half, which obviously created quite a bit of disruption to the team. We had a couple of people that were away that were, you know, are pretty in depth when it comes to Overworld, and so it's looking like we're going to have to push that playtest into January. We've learned our lessons in terms of trying to rush things out, and this is going to be the first time that the public, and we've got a mix of people. We want to do a couple of things here, and I'll explain the strategy in a second for this playtest. But the most important thing is that the game is in a really, really good state. And obviously, it's not the vertical slice, what we're talking about here. It's going to be a little bit raw, and there are some things that need polishing, and that's all okay. But in terms of having all of our systems down and in a place where we're happy with them, that has to happen. And we're just not quite ready. And I had multiple chats with Perry about this month, and Andre. They both agree we could do it, and so do I, right? Like, we've been sharing the footage. It's obviously going to be a raw game, but they really wanted an extra 2 to 3 weeks to polish everything that we built. Like the last 6 months, they've added in new combat systems, multiplayer, bosses, questing systems. So there's a lot that is starting to connect up and mesh together, and polishing each of these elements is critical. And they both said we can do it, you know, but we would much prefer an extra couple of weeks where we can really, really polish things and give people the best experience they can. Even though it's a small play test, we think that's what we should do. And I agree, right? It's going to be the first time that anyone is playing the MMO. We want to make sure that experience is good. And yes, of course, there's going to be things where you're like, oh, that's not finished. Or, you know, there's only one of those to do. There should be tons of those to do. There are going to be situations like that, and we're accepting of that. But the polish, you can't get another opportunity. We don't want people going in there saying, "Oh, that's clunky." As much as possible, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So, with that being said, it's very likely to be in January now. And our strategy with that is twofold. So the first one is getting the community to play and give us feedback, right? Like, this is the first point where we want people to stress test, make sure. It'll be the first time that we ever go above 50 people in the multiplayer aspect, which we think is fine, and not going to be a problem. But it's the first time for a lot of things, and we need to get critical feedback from people that have played the overworld before and were sitting there saying, I wish it had this, and why is it missing this thing, and how doesn't this thing work, and all of those issues and gripes that people had with the original Overworld. We want to showcase the MMO and say, what's missing from this, or what do you want us to double down on? What feels great? What doesn't feel good? And get as much of that feedback from a small subset of people in January, and then look to do another playtest in February, and then in March, and eventually we get to the vertical slice. Now, the other side of it is, and this is probably why it's more important to have the polish, right? Like, I think the council has access to the build. Like, it's not I think internally, the people on this call who have been with us forever, they'll be a lot more accepting than the content creators that I want to go out to. And it's still going to be under NDA, the playtest, but having guys like Scoriox and a bunch of the newer, smaller creators that actually play games, show that they understand different mechanics, the crypto side of it, the non-crypto side of it, just gaming in general, getting to those guys that have been hypercritical about even our game, right? I want to go back to those people and say, hey, play this, because we know the original Overworld was missing so many elements. Play this version and see, are we on the right track? And what I want is to surface content. Even though it's under NDA, I want to be able to have a little asterisk under there saying, we're getting you to play, and obviously you can't talk about it, but if you want to submit some content and we approve it, then we'll let that get out there. And with us doing that, it means that we can be more curated than just saying, hey, get out there. And if we don't have conversations with people setting their expectations of this is a very early playtest and all of those kind of things, it allows us to control that. So it isn't a situation where we're like, we want you to say this, right? Like, that is so, if you're not having fun, we want to know that. But at the same time, we want to be able to set those expectations properly, with a real agreement that says you understand that this is a very early playtest. We're looking for feedback, critical or not. We want that feedback so we can make changes and make the best game possible, right? So that's my plan there in terms of how we market this. And I think we're going to be able to get a bunch of people that can start surfacing Illuvium's MMO and in a positive light, to say, yeah, there's a few things that are a bit janky here and there, but the direction that they're going in and the speed at which they're building it, phenomenal. I'm very excited about Illuvium again. I fell off. I stopped believing in them 2 years ago. I've just got my hands on this new early demo, and I'm like, all right, sweet. They're on their way. This gives me faith in crypto gaming again. That's what we're looking to achieve with this first playtest. So that's why it's super important for us to get it right and not rush it. And so, yeah, that's the plan with the MMO, but it's looking really
like
good.
I said, I took 2 months off, and then I hadn't seen it for about another 3 weeks, and then I finally got around to testing it. And Perry kind of walked me through, but he didn't really want to tell me much. He wanted me just to get a feel for it. And yeah, I had a great time compared to where we were. Like before when I left, I would say even in that 2.5 month period, everything improved significantly. So I haven't actually played with a bunch of people though yet, because you guys always do the play tests at like 3 a.m. my time. So I'm usually asleep around that time. But yeah, that's why it'll be nice to get some other people in there for sure. So but yeah, yeah, it is a skill issue being in the wrong time zone. I know. Okay, so next, yeah, we got we'll jump into something I know we have you've talked about a little bit, and we're gonna address here. We have a form for the risk to earn idea that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah. So this idea has been floated quite a bit, not discussed in great detail. I've been talking with the council about this for, I don't know, maybe the last 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. And I've tweeted a little bit about it here and there. I've spoken to a bunch of different people that have previously been critical. Some of these content creators, I've gone out and pitched them on this idea. But Aaron came to me about 2 months ago now, and we've got this focus on revenue, right? Where we've obviously got the products that we have, which generate revenue. There's Arena, there's cosmetics, there's marketplace, there's beyond. All of those things we're going to put a greater focus on. And I think we've been doing a pretty lackluster job when it comes to marketing of our existing products. And I think we can do a really, really good job of getting more people into Beyond, getting more people excited about cosmetics, going to more limited drops, instead of us saying like, let's cater to everyone and no whitelists and all of this kind of stuff. That strategy didn't work, right? What works in crypto is someone knowing like, I'm going to be the only person that has this, or there's only 100 other people that have this, or, small limited quantity numbers is what we need to do with more of our sales to get the hype back, but more importantly, to keep our to hold our market pricing on the secondary, right? Like people have gotten used to, well, there's 10,000 of them got sold, so now they're not a good price or whatever, and I can buy them cheaper on the marketplace. We want the opposite to happen. So that's touching on cosmetics a little bit, and beyond. We need to put way more focus on that. It's such a good product. It has the ability to grow and grow and grow. And we've got some really, really good ideas about how we do that coming into set 2. So if you're a Beyond person, which I am myself, but I've sort of fallen off over the last few months, there is a huge promo coming with our biggest partner yet. Like, I'm talking a mammoth partner, which is really exciting. That's going to be in wave 5, but then set 2, there's some news coming up there as well. So if you're a Beyond person, we admit that we've sort of fallen off a little bit, and when I say we, I mean me. And so the focus is going to go back on Beyond and any products that we already have live, to try and generate more revenue, because the more revenue we have, the more runway we have, the more money that goes into the MMO, the better that game is. That's the whole cycle. Fitting into that is this idea of a risk to earn game, right? Now, Aaron came to me a couple of months ago and he was like, I feel like, there's a bunch of games in the space that are generating a ton of revenue, and they're doing it through more of this risk to earn. I didn't even think he knew what the term was, but it was more like gambling type stuff, right? Like not actual gambling, but being able to wager something or risk something and get a bunch in return, right? So he was like, what if we did a game where, and I want everyone's feedback on this. So this will be like a short pitch, but it's something that allows us to reuse all of the assets that we already have, all of the combat that we already have, the environment, literally everything is reused stuff, which is the benefit of having an IP so established and so many elements that are already there, ready to go. And so he came up with this concept where it's a battle royale, a death match where, well, maybe not a death match. That was something that I wanted to potentially add in, but that's in the survey that we're asking you guys, like, what would you like to play? But effectively, you've got a Hunger Games style of arena, and everyone gets to put in one Illuvial, up to 100 Illuvials per instance, and they go and fight to the death, right? Very, very simple. The MVP I'm talking about being super simple, as in no ability to control the gameplay while it's happening. So effectively, it's the Illuvials will go and automatically fight each other. They'll use all the same combat stuff that they do currently in the Overworld, and the last Illuvial standing wins the prize, whatever that might be. Now, the deathmatch style is everyone wants a way to burn Illuvials. If you put in your Illuvial and it dies, theoretically, we can set this up so they instantly burn, right? Another way we could set it up is they don't burn, but they get given to the player who wins. So everyone loses their Illuvial, but it goes over to that other player. But the thing that it allows us to do is for people to put in a $5 amount or a $1 amount, a $10 amount. We could even have crazy whale games where everyone puts in $100 per round, and the winner takes all. So I'm the type of person that if you said to me, hey, chuck in $10 and there's 1,000 people, so 10 instances of 100 that are all in this tournament, and all of a sudden I can win $10,000 prize money for a $10 entry fee, and it means I've got to burn one Illuvial. It's like, okay, well, of course I'm going to do that, right? Like I wanted a thing to do. Now, we can do it without prize money. We can do it with prize money. The risk to earn factor is where it gets really cool though, because you've got people who are about to start the game, and they're like, oh, I'll put this tier 1, stage 1 Illuvial because I don't care about it. But then that game runs, and this match only lasts 5 minutes. That's how we've got it set up. Now there's a dome that keeps on getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, so the Illuvials have to run around in that area. Otherwise, outside of the dome, they die very, very quickly. And so you've got this situation where it's a question of, if I put in that atlas that's got shitty stats and no level 1, it's probably going to die. It might win, maybe in a crazy circumstance. The other people who are chucking in tier 3s and 4s, maybe they have a bad run, they all get ganked, they run into each other, start fighting, and this atlas just somehow survives. That is always a potential in this style of game, but it's very unlikely. And so you've got this situation where you're like, okay, well, maybe I won't put in an atlas. Maybe I'll put in a Riptus, right? Like something that's mid and has the potential to win. It's going to hurt me if I lose that Riptus. I want that Illuvial, but it's a much higher chance of it winning. But then you've got someone on the flip side who's crazy, who's like, I will put in my Ramfire, or my Blaze Knight, or something that is, super high level, super powerful, but they're risking it. They might be putting in an asset that they spent $100 on, but if it wins, you get that $10,000, right? That is the style of game that Aaron pitched it to me, the basic format of it, and I think that being available on web as well, which is the plan here if we go ahead with it, that being accessible on web and mobile, so you can literally just within seconds go, oh, there's a game starting in 10 minutes, put in my Illuvial, pay my entry fee, away I go. You can do it from literally anywhere. That style of game that has the wagering mechanics, it has the large prize pools, I think that's the something that could quickly get the attention of other ecosystems out there that are very much into risk to earn, that are games that are generating hundreds of thousands of dollars with this style of model. I think would work really, really well for us. And it's something that we could build quickly. It's something that we would need to build with you guys. There's a lot of variables here and a lot of parameters that are, do we have prize money? How much prize money? Do we have entry fees? Do we have protection fees for Illuvials, as in like insurance? So you can pay a small fee to ensure that your Illuvial doesn't die. There's a lot of stuff where we have questions from you guys, and we've created a form that sort of allows us into your minds of like, what type of game would you like to play? And maybe it comes back and our entire community is like, absolutely not. That type of game does not sound fun whatsoever. We don't care about large prize pools. We don't care about risking our Illuvials. We don't want to burn them. Like, maybe that's the output of this, and that's fine. I would much rather we have a situation where everyone tells us before we go and build things that we don't like that style of game. As I said, I went and pitched like 15 different people, and from a diverse range of people as well, not just Illuvium communities, people who've never played our game, all of that kind of stuff. And the vast majority were like, that style of game, fuck yeah, I'd play that. So, but that's not our community. So I want to know from our community, do you like this idea? And if you do, to what extent? And so we've got a form that Rich will share after this. If you can it'll take you a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes to fill it out. It would help us a lot. And from there, we can decide, do we want to even do this? Do we not want to do this? To give you an understanding of like how that would come about, it would be a tiny team that we put on this. I'm talking like 3 people in total. Everything is reused from existing stuff that we've already built. That doesn't mean it's just voila, put it together. There's still some build there, and there's definitely some web elements to allow people the interface to get into this. But the point is, if not this, we're looking at risk to earn games, because we have the ability to generate a lot of revenue. We have the ability to get to market a lot faster than any other game that wants to build something like this. So we're open to any suggestions that anyone has of a risk to earn type game. This was our first stab at it. And if you guys like it, obviously, we'll go through the process of doing a proper GDD. We'll then go, through approval of council. We'll make it very clear how many resources we're putting on this style of game. Or maybe the output of this is a completely different game, and that's fine as well. Andre did go and build a prototype of this very, very quickly, which I can show you guys. It's a bit rough. It still has a bunch of Illuvials that need fixing and whatever, but to accompany that, it will at least give you the basic premise of the game starts, Illuvials jump in, they start automatically fighting each other. The dome closes within 5 minutes. There's one Illuvial left standing. They win the large prize pool. Right? Like you'll get that from this quick 1.5-minute demo. So we'll share that with you as well. And then that's it. I think on the risk to earn game.
And then they can, or yeah.
Oh, we can do it at the end. I'm sure. I don't want to take over. Like, we've got a
All right.
couple of other things
Yeah,
to
that's
talk
fine.
about, so we'll do it at
All
the
right.
end.
Yeah,
Everyone's
no,
going to
and I
start
haven't seen it yet
filling that
personally, his
up,
prototype, but
paying
I asked him
attention.
about it yesterday. So I imagine like, top-down view, like watching a bunch of Illuvials battle. Like I don't remember what the game was. I mean, maybe it was like an Age of Empires type game, but there was an old game where you like threw a shitload of units in, and they all battled. Like that's kind of what I'm imagining. But yeah, I'm hoping to see it from Andre as well.
Mhm.
We have a demo for him, you said? I didn't see the video yet, so.
We have a demo. It's not anything special. Like, he literally did it in a couple of days. So I'm sure there's a bunch of bugs and whatever. Actually, I'm not, like, I am sure I've seen it, but I think it'll give people the understanding of like how this game would work. The MVP is literally what you're seeing, right? Like, the Illuvials go in. It's more about the UX and UI of getting into the game that's important, like how you choose your Illuvials, how you put a wager in if we decide to do a wager, how the prize pools work, how we show the winners, how we show the ability to stream your own character, whether that be through the client or through the global stream, which would be web. Because I think this has got this style of deathmatch, particularly if you get up to, it has a potential of like 10,000 players if you've got if you've got a whole bunch of instances where the player numbers are there. And in one of these modes, I've said Leviathan mode, right, where it's $100 to enter. You can get up to insane amounts of prize pools, and enough that you could actually get the crypto people that are like, nah, I don't play games, fuck that. Like, you could get guys like Ansem playing this, like Becca playing this. I spoke to Kane about it. He was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. Like, the idea of earning, $50,000 plus by putting in $100, it's it's the test of time. Like, that people do those sort of wages all the time, especially in crypto. If you can package it in this fun way where you're like, okay, now I've won that round, I progress to the next round. Will my alluvial survive? I put in the best one that I have. I spent $300 on it. It's got the best stats. You're watching someone stream this, and the anguish when it dies, or the elation when it wins, it will be so raw, so real. And then you're talking about huge amounts of money. Not all the time. I think the regular games, maybe you only have like $100 prize money in for the winner, or $500 or $1,000, whatever it might be. But those Leviathan style, like, if you can actually get players to come across, it will get them using the IP. It will force them to start buying alluvials. The allure, like Cointelegraph, would jump all over this. Like, it's never really been done in this way, and it's easy as fuck. You do nothing. You literally just put your alluvial in. Maybe after, if the MVP, if people like it and it comes to market, and then we get past MVP, that's when we start talking about things like power-ups that you can buy, defeating NPCs in the game, so that your alluvial gains a little bit of experience and power as it starts beating other NPCs in the map. There's a bunch of things that we can obviously add to this. The point is, we want it to be, at least for now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we want this to be as simple as possible. And I think that the allure here is the large prize pools. At least for me, that's what I don't know about the community and what they think. But yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential, and
Someone mentioned,
yeah,
how that
we'll
ties
see what
back
people
into
think.
like revenue. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be, we get the DAO gets a percentage, right?
Yeah. We get a percentage, and we can take a large percentage of that, right? Like, we could take a 20% rake, 30% rake, like, what it doesn't really matter. And so the point is, the whole reason that Aaron was pitching this to me was the revenue potential. So I think there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential to burn alluvials through this. You're talking about 99 alluvials burning each event. If there's only 100, if there's 1,000, 999 alluvials that get burnt, very, very quickly, people are going to start looking at the marketplace and going, okay, well, there's, the floor price isn't 0.00001 cents anymore. All of those people will end up buying them and chucking them into the arena and hoping they've got a 1 in 10,000 chance that their, terrible alluvial is going to win, but you're still telling me there's a chance, right? So, people will believe. So yeah, it's got a lot of benefits. It's got a lot of revenue benefits to it, but I don't know. It's a little outlandish, a little crazy. It's not. It doesn't really fit the Illuvium ethos, which I know some internal people. It's not for them. So yeah, just want to make sure we validate this before we take it any further than where we've got it now.
Alrighty. Well, so that's the risk to earn thing, and like Kieran said, we'll have a form for you guys. I'll share it at the end. So up next, well, one thing I didn't put in here that I think we should cover is quickly is Illuvium Zero. Like, do you want to just cover briefly plans for Illuvium Zero? I know we haven't talked about it much yet, but I know we should probably cover it. So.
Yeah, so the migration to ZK EVM is nearly wrapped up in terms of the zero side. We're pretty much nearly wrapped. I think early Jan or mid Jan is when we're hoping to have the full migration done to ZK EVM, which opens up a lot of opportunities for things. But Zero, they started working on that first. There are a couple of things that we want to do for Zero in the new year. We've still got a team that works on it. That it's very, very small, obviously, but they've had most of their time go into the ZK EVM migration. And once that's complete, which is pretty much going to be, in the next week or so, they're going to now jump onto new features. That's another thing that we want to speak to the community about and directly have their involvement. More so, here's what we can build. So like a smorgasbord of this is what we can. This is our estimates of how long each of these things are going to take. You guys as a group decide on what we start building. We've got that team there. They do a lot of maintenance. We can't lose that team because if something goes wrong with Zero, we've got to have people there that can fix it. And there's already been a couple of things that Unity have done out of our control that we've needed to update and fix. So we've got to have that team there. So we may as well in the new year get them building the features that the landholders want. And that's the plan there. So we'll probably have a landholders meeting sometime in January to go over like what those features are, and yeah, start to get a bit of excitement back into Zero. I'm setting the expectations now. It is a very small team, but we do want to start making progress towards new features in Zero in 2026.
Yeah. I'm sure Zero people are happy to hear at least an update on that. And then that also ties into actually a perfect transition because you mentioned ZK EVM. I mean, I think it's public knowledge now. We're going to be, migrating over to immutable ZK EVM. I mean, I'll just mention it. We're hopefully going to be, announcing some blogs and information in the next day or so, as far as I know. About the migration. We're going to give you guys, the rundown of the instructions, like what it looks like, how it's all going to work. Basically, you guys don't have to do anything anyways. But yeah, we're going to be coming out with a bunch of information about that, this week. And then, like Kieran said, hopefully in, mid-late January, that'll be complete. And then we'll be on ZK EVM, which will open up a whole bunch of cool opportunities and things for us to do on ZK EVM that wasn't possible before, at least. So, and I don't know if you want to say more on that, Kieran. I just wanted to mention it real quick.
No, I think you covered it. Pretty self-explanatory. We're moving over. There's a lot of good benefits that are going to come out of that. It helps our web team a ton, and certainly products like the risk to earn game that we're going to pitch are so much easier on ZK EVM, and it will allow us to accept to take money easier, to do different currencies easier. Like there's a lot of things that we gain out of that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
I mean, I started writing. Not me,
it's
but like I started using AI to like help us. Hopefully, we can build a rental platform so we can start renting Illuvials once we get over on ZK EVM. So, yeah, it enables a whole bunch of cool stuff. We can use all the Ethereum, standards. So, super cool smart contracts and all kinds of good stuff coming with that. So, I'm excited personally about that. So next, though, before we get to the community questions that have been submitted, and they're kind of, some of them have been covered, but we'll go through the ones that haven't. But before we do that, we do have another thing coming tomorrow, hopefully it should be, which is the Christmas sale. If you want to talk about that a little bit, Kieran.
Yeah, so we've been working in the background to get a Christmas sale out for both Beyond and Arena. And there's a little bit, we were trying to get it out today, and we were going to, announce it and share all the different stuff, but we'll end up doing that tonight, and then hopefully the actual physical sale will go live tomorrow, so you will be able to get them. Very limited quantities we're doing. There's a maximum of 150 of the Beyond bundle. That includes 6 Illuvatars. There's the polar bear, there's the penguin, pterodactyl, lynx, and the apon. They look amazing as always, and they're going to be on sale from tomorrow, as I said, hopefully, and very, very limited in quantity. There's literally 150. There'll never be more. And that's what I've been talking about instead of us, trying to say we could sell 5,000 of them or 10,000 of them, and people being like, well, I mean, they're not scarce. Anyone can get them. It sort of takes away. And so we might run into a situation where things sell out super quickly and there's some disappointed people. But I think that the benefits of ensuring that those assets stay valuable on the secondary market is probably more important than a few people missing out. If it goes crazy and things sell out super fast and there's a lot of people disappointed, then we will relook at that in the next sale that we do. And, maybe we have to go back to doing, let's not use the W whitelist word quite yet, but we'll work out different ways where participation in the ecosystem will, give you earlier rights to these types of drops. But the most important thing is making them limited, making them special, making people who are able to buy these feel like, yes, I got a good deal. I got something that barely anyone else has. That is really, really important. So that's the Beyond bundle. And then so I'm definitely going to buy that. I'm going to try and buy that. Then there's one that I'm really excited about that is kind of, I feel like our interface needs to get so much better around this, but it's an Arena bundle. So for me, I love being able to flex on people. It's actually at the point now where, you can quickly buy something, you can see it in it. The UI is really, really good now. You can change things, you can update your ranger, your drone blast, the emotes you use. It's intuitive, it feels good. It's not that alpha style that when we launched, where it's like, how do I even connect an Illuvitar to my profile? Like that doesn't exist anymore. So for me, I think we need to do a better job of letting people know of that and making it easier and more accessible for people to actually buy things that they're going to use and actually use. Like it's a crazy thought. We had so many cosmetics for years and years and years, and you would play arena and you couldn't use them. And so I think a lot of people just got fatigued with that and just forgot and just like fuck it, you know, it doesn't exist. But that's not the case, and that's where my head was at, right? Like it wasn't until the update, I think like 6 months ago, where it was a whole new interface where you could literally easily change and modify whatever you wanted, customize it based on your own feeling. We've got that now, and I think marketing, and again, I take the blame for this, we've dropped the ball massively on showing people like there are awesome cosmetics for you to get and be able to use immediately. As soon as you buy them, they're available to use in arena. And we've got this bundle. It's got a snowman drone blast. It's got a choppin drone skin. It's in obviously Xmas themed. All of these are a Christmas ranger suit, Christmas border, and 3 Christmas emotes. Now the supply of these is only 200, which I get it. You know, we've got something like 5,000 people that play on a monthly basis. That seems like a small amount, but again, and maybe people will end up disappointed. I don't know. This is also a problem. I haven't been following these types of sales, and I haven't been following, you know, closely enough what we've been doing with Beyond sales, and so that is going to change. And I'm going to make sure that when we do sales like this, there's coverage of it. There's the feeling of I'm getting something special. If you are one of the lucky people that ends up getting buying one of these packs, they're going to be $49.95 each. If you do get one of them, we need to do a good job of marketing it to make you feel like, yes, I got in there, I lined up, I got it, and now I'm, you know, one of only 200 people that have these packs. And then when you flex it, people aren't like, oh, what is that thing on that? It's like, oh, that's the thing that I missed out on. You know, I really wanted to get that. And we just have done a terrible job of those types of sales for the last 12 months. And I'm very, very keen on fixing that. And I think we can do it. We're not doing the art team the justice. They go and make unbelievable stuff, and we really don't do a good job of showcasing that and marketing it. So that is all going to change. This Christmas sale is the first step. And in the new year, there's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, I shared some of the images in the chat of the drone blast and the ranger skin and so on and so forth. So yeah, looking forward to getting those, definitely. And as Kieran said, I think that'll be ready tomorrow. So they had a couple issues, you know, getting in-game ready. So and I think a couple web things. So it should be ready to go by tomorrow, though, as far as I know. So and that'll be priced in fuel, guys. We'll have a little announcement article that'll come out when that goes live tomorrow, and it'll be good until New Year's, as Kieran said. So, alrighty. Next up, we'll cover some of these questions. Some people submitted some questions in various different areas. So we can cover it. Some of it's been covered just, you know, naturally through everything we've already talked about. But we are going to go ahead and cover the rest now. I guess one of the biggest questions that got asked a lot, Kieran, was regarding shards. Is there any more you can tell us about shards and how those are going to play out in the future, what people are staking to get shards for, and so on and so forth?
So no new info about shards. Obviously, we know what shards are, and we're keeping it very close to our chest. We don't want to reveal that until I don't know if this is, I guess, a leak, but we don't want to reveal that until market conditions are better. Put it that way. that's where we're at. But shards are very important. There is, a reason that I've gone and restaked millions of dollars in in the new staking protocol. But we're not ready to reveal what shards are. But as soon as things get better with the market, we will absolutely reveal what the utility of those shards is.
All right. Next let's see here. What like as far as stuff coming across to the MMO, and I mean, I know Perry covered this in his town hall, and I mean the answer could be potentially the same, but do we have any more light on, like which things are going to be coming across to the MMO versus, things we're going to be eliminating? Or is it, I guess probably still the same situation that we talked about with Perry, where we're still kind of up in the air and the game's the focus type of thing,
100%. The game's the focus. There's a lot of there's a lot deeper, high level discussion that's going on with that, right? And it's more towards who are we marketing the MMO to, right? Like, is it to crypto people? Is it to mainstream? Right now, it is 100% to mainstream, right? We want to make the gameplay be the highlight, and anything crypto is obfuscated. It's behind a layer where it just works. It's easy, and if you want ownership, it's more optional, right? Like and there are some things which aren't optional. It's you have to, but then there are other things where if you want it, you can turn it into an NFT, and that has not changed. I think what happens over the next like 12 to 18 months is going to potentially change who that market audience is, but also maybe not. And so we don't need to make that call yet. All I can say is anyone that has value in a current collection, you will not lose that value. So we'll translate it across, we'll convert it across in some way, shape, or form. So you're not starting and being like, oh, I lost all of this. We did the fuel conversion. We don't want another repeat of that. And so just know that you'll keep that value, but we have not fixed exactly what is going to come across, because some stuff will be modified, some stuff will stay the exact same, some stuff will go completely. We don't have an answer for that, and we don't need to have an answer for that. And the most important thing, as Perry would have said, is just making sure the game is really, really good. We can work out the crypto and the collections.
Okay. Good
At
deal.
a later date.
And as I said, also like even the ZKM EVM migration, we'll talk a little bit more about some of that stuff as well. So, but another question, I guess, that's being asked a lot from these questions I see at least is regarding, set one ending, or what the plan is regarding, set one with the overworld and the vertical slice, like, I guess, how will that work? Will set one end and then the MMO will close? I guess people are really curious about that.
Undecided. What I will say is we'll announce early so people have, if we do decide to go into set 2 when the MMO releases, which I don't think we will. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should give people a chance to go in and collect the set 1 characters. But if we did, we would give people a ton of notice. You would be able to do your drone runs. We're not going to say like, no more, getting of set 1. We'll give people plenty of notice on that.
I guess with the MMO, like with that, like you're saying, possibly, people can go back out and catch, set 1 Illuvials. Is there going to be, the question is like the focus going to be on owned Illuvials in the MMO? Like, is that going to be a major focus still? Is like having owned Illuvials, in the MMO? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, that's our special sauce, right? Like the reason that you will want to play our MMO over so many other MMOs that are out there is the connection that you have with your characters. And that's what we need to build out through the journey of the MMO, where you feel like it's not just this slave or soldier that works for you. You feel like if it got hurt, that would upset you. You want to protect it. It's one of you. You might only have a couple that you're putting out at a time, and so you want to make sure that you feel really good about that connection. And that's what we need to express throughout the entire journey of the MMO. And I think that is going to be the unique thing, that when people talk about playing Illuvium, it's going to be my Ramfire, my Atlas, my unique one that I've built up over time. It's been with me throughout the entire journey. The same way that you felt about maybe a Pikachu or a Bulbasaur or whatever it might be. We need to create that psychological connection, an emotional connection, where you feel like you're one with your Illuvials. That is the main thing. And the biggest thing that we have over every other game is that you own that Illuvial, right? It's not something that anyone can ever take away from you. It's on chain, you own it. And obviously there's optionality there in terms of you don't have to, but we need that to be a big step where it's like, okay, I want to make sure that this is forever mine and on chain.
Yeah, no, I mean, you already have people that are very connected to their alluvials, as Toriel said. She's got Steve, and people. That's another feature people want, is naming their alluvials. So maybe in the future. I know Aaron mentioned it before, but I guess another question related to the MMO that I've seen at least 3 or 4 times here, and it's mostly based around the revenue sources that the MMO will have. Like, what are going to be those revenue levers? Like, how do we expect it to play out? With projections, for having X amount of players once it's done. Or are we not even that far because we're not even at the vertical slice?
No, I think it's going to be a combination of stuff. A subscription model, a battle pass model, having the big one though, the one that should outlast literally everything, is the marketplace transactions. If people are buying and selling items and alluvials and other stuff that they have in the ecosystem, those marketplace transactions should be able to fund the MMO. I would ideally like to say without needing anything like a subscription or anything like that. But we're definitely, it all depends how we're looking, and once we get to close to being in a release state, that's when we can take stock and say, okay, we have 1 million people that have signed up for the MMO, or maybe we've only got 100,000 people that have signed up. There's a lot of variables there that will determine how we actually monetize, but everything is on the table right now. Just not microtransactions.
Yeah.
Definitely not microtransactions.
Alrighty, what else do we got here? I guess that's most of the MMO question. People wanted to know if you were going to be able to use the bubbles in Brightland, but I think those are turned off now, guys. At least when I tested, it seemed like it.
They're turned off. So we want you to feel like the world is huge. And now it's kind of crazy. Like when I first went in, it was a bit of a mission. The old game directors, that was the first thing that they said. They were like, we need to make this world feel big. Right now, with all the movement mechanics, you can literally get from one side to the other in 30 seconds, right? And it just made it feel like it was small, even though it's a gigantic region. you wouldn't feel good going through it. So that's been a bit of a challenge. A lot of the devs are sort of pushing back. They're like, and I think movement and locomotion in the game was really, really good. That was one thing where it's like the jetpack, the glider, the mag boots, they all felt so good, so polished. And the devs are very proud of building those features. The idea of nerfing them or taking them away was very painful. But the trade-off is now when you go into the overworld, I haven't even like I'm not even joking. I haven't even seen the other side of the map. Like you don't get there. You've obviously got to get through ridiculous mobs of creatures, and unless you cheat and put up your level and go on an exploration where you're trying to get to the end of the map, you just don't get there, right? Like you just don't. And it's because we've nerfed those features now, and it feels gigantic. It literally feels like you're never going to reach the end of it. And that's what we want out of the MMO. We want you to feel like this is never ending, like this adventure is just bigger and bigger. And then, oh my God, there's another region that I can go to, and another region that I can go to, and another region. Like we want that feeling of this is going to be an endless adventure. Obviously, it can't ever be endless, but we want you to feel like that. And I don't know about you, but I already feel like, holy shit, this region is 100 times bigger than what it was. And so there are some things that are creeping back in to make movement fun and cool, but it's certainly been one of the most fascinating discussions to watch happen between game directors and developers.
Alrighty, well, I'm looking through the questions. I think we covered a lot of it. The risk to earn, the MMO, like I think we got most of the specific questions. There's a couple more, like here, let's see this one. I mean, regarding the IPL, you kind of covered this, but like as far as an IPL season 2 and even season 1, like looking back on it, like how do you feel? Like was there KPIs that you wanted to hit that it did not hit specifically? Like I know you kind of discussed it, that it just didn't bring across the TFT players that we wanted, but like how do you like see that playing out in IPL season 2, especially if I guess now we're going to be in Leviathan type mode,
Yeah, so it was a different allure having an IPL, having large prize pools. The aim there was different to what the IPL season 2 will be, and that is we wanted to give people a reason, TFT players, a reason to come across. And I'm not saying it didn't work at all. There's many people now that are in our ecosystem that play TFT that now play Illuvium as well. Like it 100% there were converts, but nowhere near to the scale that we needed it to, and the ROI just wasn't there. And but I'm not pretending like it was either. Did we have to go and do that? Absolutely. If we didn't try that, every single person would be sitting here like, well, we've done no marketing. So I love the game. Obviously, everyone else is going to love the game more than TFT. But the reality is we had to try it. We did try it. We gave it our best shot, and it didn't bring across enough people to justify another season exactly the same. However, now with our focus on crypto people, we can't just say, okay, well, we won't have any IPL, we won't have any prize money, because crypto's motivation is I want the opportunity to earn money. Even if they don't earn money, they need the opportunity to earn money. So if we are to go out and say that there's no tournaments, no professional scene, anything like that, I think Leviathan isn't going to go the way that we hope it will. And then we're going to have people say, yeah, but you removed tournaments, you removed the leaderboard, like there's no incentives there. So of course it was going to slowly drop off, right? And that's I believe that. I really do. So we're finalizing the details now. This is obviously something that I want to speak to the council about. There's a lot of people on the council that have a lot to do with the IPL. And so I want to have a proper discussion with them and say, look, we obviously can't go out and do the same level of prize money and whatever, but what is a redacted version that is still it still incentivizes people to play, and it still gives people a reason to want to train and get better. But how do we do that in the most balanced way possible without it costing the DAO too much in ILV? But also, what I think can happen here is, even though we've only got 2,000 players, I misspoke before saying 5,000, 2,000. I think it's a little more than 2,000, but let's call it 2,000 active arena players. If we get them going, as in, like, if we get them really loving the game and feeling like, okay, I'll buy one more Illuvial, or I'll trade this Illuvial and I'll get this one back, I'll spend a little bit of money on XP here to boost that up, or I'll burn these Illuvials. I think even with those 2,000 players, Arena has the ability to start upticking in revenue on marketplace fees. It has the ability to start making people burn a shit ton of Illuvials, which will, increase the floor price across the board. And I think it has the ability to start getting people to just buy Illuvials off other people, which the second order effects on that, on the Overworld side, all of a sudden people are like, wow, that's random. My Illuvial that I thought would never sell sold. That has a lot of psychological effects on people inside the ecosystem that then looking like, wow, okay, I've got $10 here from that Illuvial sale. I thought Illuvium was dead. Let me go in and look at Illuvium. Oh, wow. Then they might buy some more tokens, right? Like there's a lot of impact that we can have by getting even the smallest amount of marketplace action start happening. There's a lot of downstream effects that are really, really positive, even if it starts small. So I think we need to give it the respect it deserves, and we need to give it a good shot with Leviathan. And yeah, that's what we plan to do. So we'll have more information about that. Hopefully this side of this year. We want to start the new year fresh, giving people an understanding of what we're going to do. But rest assured, if you're an arena player, there will be tournaments, there will be incentives, there will be prize money, and you'll have something to play for in the new year.
Well, I think that's about all the questions, at least like 90% of them, and I think you answered most of them just throughout talking about everything that we've gone through. Unless there's anything else you think that you missed, I think we covered about everything, Kieran.
No, I think that's it. I just want to reiterate, that it was such a good feeling that I got after having such a negative idea of having to go. If you're a founder and you've got to reduce your costs, and you've got to go and have these conversations with people you love, people you've worked with, people you've spent more time with than literally some family members of yours. If you have to go and have that conversation about potentially being let go or reducing your wage, which has a massive effect. We're literally 6 days away from Christmas, and the response that you get from every single person that works here is, whatever you need me to do, I'm in. I'm here for the long haul. I believe in the vision. I think we can spin out of this regardless of the market. The MMO's looking great. Arena has a lot of good stuff that's happening. We've got Beyond. That community is so strong. We've got a lot of stuff here. I'm not going anywhere. Whatever you need, we're happy to take this hit. We're doing this because we love the community. We love our investors who backed us. We're going absolutely nowhere. I came out of those conversations with so much confidence, with so much happiness that people were, our team was willing to go to this length for us. And you guys should feel that as well. That is why I'm stressing that as much as possible, because I want you guys to understand the sacrifice that the team is willing to make going into 2026. And that's because they believe in this, like you guys continue to believe in this. We had 100 people rock up to this town hall at any given time. That shows that there's still conviction here. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy in the new year, but at least you know that you've got a team that is locked in, that has plenty of runway now, that is going to be looking to extend that runway through things like capital raises, extra revenue that we can generate through our products that we have, new exciting products that we're thinking about launching. We want you guys to be on the journey with us and continue with us. You know definitively that Illuvium is going to make it out of 2027 and into 2027, and that should give you the reassurance that not only are the team here and committed and still going to be pushing, we've got the financial runway now as well, and we haven't had to go down to a skeleton team. So with all that said, I think you should be really, really confident, even though we're navigating through one of the toughest markets in crypto history, if not the. At least you know that the team that you backed is still here, and we're not going
as
anywhere.
I told you in our meeting, I started off as a volunteer, like I'll be here as if I have to be as a volunteer at the end, so yeah, I'll always be here or around, so.
You heard it, people. Rich is taking 100% pay cut back to volunteer.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you everybody
No,
for showing up to the
kidding.
town hall. I know you guys haven't seen me for a bit. As I said, I was gone, and I'll be starting up the podcast again in January. So you guys will see more of me again in January. But yeah, thank you everyone for all the questions. Thank you for coming to the town hall. I hope everyone has a good holiday off, or whatever you're doing, New Year, holidays, whatever your jam is for the winter season, at least winter here. But yeah, again, excited for 2026 and the end of 2025. And I just want to say I appreciate the community for being here, and sticking it out with all of us. And yeah, we will see you guys soon, in the new year for sure. So, yep. Thank you, everybody. Everyone have
Thanks,
a good
Rich.
weekend.
Appreciate it.